Bon qui, je m'appelle Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic Wrestling, joined as always, I say as always, I'm your brand new Cultaholic Wrestling Heavyweight Champion, but the former champion hasn't brought the belt into the office, so I've got to do with Clarence, the commemorative Cultaholic Wrestling Octopus. How you doing, Clarence? Are you doing well? What am I doing now? I'm speaking to an octopus, but last night's Raw, it was interesting. Things are getting better, everybody. So you've got Edge and Drew, Edge and Randy, Drew and Sheamus, the Hurt Business and the Hurt Business. Lots of things are building on Monday Night Raw. It's getting better. It's getting better. Thank God, it's getting better. But on the flip reverse side of things, we still have Charlotte Flair making no sense whatsoever in the midst of that Lacey Evans and Ric Flair bollocks. And you have Alexa Bliss. Bless that woman for trying, but for me personally, the spooky bollocks she is doing, it's still not hitting. Nothing to do with her performance, she's doing as good as she can with the bollocks that's put in front of her. But one major question for me coming out of last night's Raw, and that is, where is Christian? Looked fantastic at the Royal Rumble. Is it safe to assume he's going to Friday Night SmackDown? I hope so, because he was nowhere to be seen during last night's Raw, a Raw that also saw Carlito return to Monday nights, and whoa, he just looks good, doesn't he? But damn you, COVID! Yes, COVID, I'm looking at you. Of all the terrible things you have done to the human race over the past year and a bit, the worst thing you have done is deprive us wrestling fans of some Carlito Apple action. How could you bastard? I am Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic Wrestling. I've had one too many coffees, but now it's time to go through all the WTF moments from last night's Raw. Hit the intro man. An intro man, right? It might be my fault because I reviewed yesterday's video for the 2021 Royal Rumble WTF Moments and I didn't spot the TLC logo at the start. That's how bloody tired I was. So intro man, just do it right before I see the video, because you can't rely on me to spot something that's really obvious, apparently. That's the sort of thing we find ourselves doing today on WTF Moments. But in terms of the actual WTF Moments from last night's Raw, we're kicking things off with Daddy Drew McIntyre. He's in the middle of the ring. He's speaking about how tonight's Raw, it's not going to be a normal Raw, because we're picking things up a notch, because we're on the road to WrestleMania. Point at the sign, see how it shines for you. And when he mentioned notches, I was thinking, Daddy Drew, are you saying there was any notches there to begin with? The way Raw has just been so awful for so long, I was thinking in terms of notches, there was none to be seen whatsoever. But the way Drew structured his sentence there, that inferred that we did in fact have some notches on a Monday night to begin with. This makes sense in my head. You know who we need to sort this out, everybody? We need the Notcher Boy. Woo, I'm starting to think I've got no notches. That was terrible. Let's move on. Goldberg to Daddy Drew McIntyre. Hey, you little prick, you've got no respect for us old people. Daddy Drew to Edge. Hey there, Edge, you're not quite as old as Big Baldy Bill, but I respect what you've done. You're absolutely fantastic. Edge to Drew. Drew, man. What the hell are you doing? So then, within the context of the last little while in WWE and with Goldberg fresh in the mind, is Edge actually a bit of a prick? Of course I get what Edge is saying. He wants the world title. Daddy Drew, he has the world title. He wants Daddy Drew to take Edge a bit more seriously. Now that Edge has won the Royal Rumble, the Royal Rumble, because now Edge is maybe not coming for Daddy Drew's world title. But I'm just putting it out there. We all know that Edge has been a prick far longer than he's been a good guy in WWE. He's a far better prick, in my opinion, than he is a good guy. So is he, without being obvious, being a prick? Tell me down below. Somewhere in the distance, Keith Lee, who we have not forgotten about here on WTF Moments, was like, Drew, I bloody warned you, son. Now, to be honest with you, I didn't feel like making Sheamus turning on Daddy Drew McIntyre a WTF moment, because at the end of the day, when all's said and done, it's Sheamus. He's a bastard. It stems from the fantastic relationship that Daddy Drew and Sheamus had. It's unprecedented in WWE that as babyface as a babyface can be, in Daddy Drew McIntyre would still be best friends with a proper heely heel bastard called Sheamus. It's a proper brotherly love relationship thing, and that's the thing that made it so great. No No matter how much of a prick Sheamus was, Daddy Drew stuck by him because that's what brothers do, innit? But I feel like I have to mention it here on WTF Moments because if I didn't, I fear that you, dear viewer, at home would do something like this.
No, we're not watching that shit!
Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong. I don't get this at all, said Byron Saxton, as definitely not, WWE Champion Sheamus kicked he really is Byron Saxton, the WWE Champion, Daddy Drew McIntyre, square between the eyes. And I was just thinking to myself, Byron Saxton, surely you've heard the boomer say this, because I've heard it, and I didn't even do the wrestles for a living. I've heard the boomer say, wrestling's all about two things, everybody. It's all about the checks and the championships. But the best thing about all of this is the fact that we see Sheamus kick Daddy Drew in the head. Byron's very confused. We go to commercial break, and how long do commercials last for? 3-4 minutes, something like that. We come back to Monday Night Raw, and Byron Saxton is still sat there, absolutely perplexed. And he's saying things like, I'm still trying to wrap my head around why Sheamus would decide to Brogue kick his best friend and WWE Champion, Daddy Drew McIntyre. And I'm sat there thinking, Byron Saxton, are you actually wondering how you could possibly physically wrap your head around a Brogue shoe that belongs to Sheamus? Because surely this entire feud, the crux of it, coming out of last night's Raw, it's not hard to understand, is it? But then we have a bit of a saucy WTF moment that might tickle a taint or two as we see Sheamus ask Drew Gulak to give him his bag as he flees the scene of his dastardly bastard crime. Ooh! That's all I've got to say about that. Interesting relationship there between Sheamus and Drew Gulak in the offing. Riddle. Why is it still there, man? It's still there on last night's Raw. You've been matless for so long now. Get the gear updated. And of course, normally in the wrestles, when we see a concussion / knocked out sort of angle happening on our television screens, and the person who was being concussed and or knocked out is like, oh my God, what the hell happened? Who the hell did I wrestle? You normally feel sorry for them, don't you? But when it comes to Riddle, who by the way was knocked out and or concussed at the hands of Bobby Lashley on last night's Raw, when it comes to the way he's been booked over the last little while, there's just a chance he didn't know who he was wrestling because he's the biggest idiot ever to live. Either that, or he just rolled a massive fatty before the show and he was tripping balls when he was in the ring. Oh my God, man. Did you see me get tapped out by Hornswoggle? He put me in a full Nelson and he threw me over the barricade to the other side of the rainbow, man. Huh? And then when I saw that there on last night's Raw, I said to myself, what the fudge-alicious? Edge wrestling a main event match after 58 minutes in the Royal Rumble the night before. You love to see it, don't you? And by the way, that Royal Rumble of 2021 matchup, that was Edge's first match since all the way back into last June. No matter what Maggle Cole tries to tell you, it's gotta be May. What are you on about, Maggle? But on this day, I see clearly that Edge is not taking the piss out of us. He's super serial. And then we've got to make the New Day saying that Mustafa Ali has lost his mind because Mustafa Ali is telling everybody that if he didn't get injured, there wouldn't be a Kofi Mania. He's lost his mind, so he has. That's a WTF moment, New Day. He hasn't lost his mind. He's telling the truth, isn't he? Mustafa's telling the truth, isn't he, lads? If he doesn't get injured on a SmackDown, I think it was, before Elimination Chamber 2019, Kofi Kingston's not in that match, and then Kofi Kingston doesn't do the things he did in that match, garnering the response from the crowd inside the arena, and garnering the response that he got from everybody worldwide on social media, and then Kofi Mania, it does not happen. I mean, who knows? Was Mustafa Ali supposed to win that Elimination Chamber match? Should he have gone on to WrestleMania a challenge for a world title? I've got no idea, but Kofi Kingston, he would not have been in the mix if Ali did not get injured. Did Mace get lost or something? There he is earlier in the day behind Mustafa Ali, but when Mustafa comes out on Raw, Mace is nowhere to be seen, and I was just hoping he hasn't spaffed in his own face, because that would hurt. Because of Mace. And I had to make this a WTF moment, everybody, because to be honest with you, I completely forgot that Randall Keith looked like that just 7 days ago. It just reminded me of a time when I was playing football. I was about 10 years old. It was a scorching summer day up here in the northeast of England. Over 30 degrees. I was playing on a five-a-side court, the sort of courts that have the wooden boards at the side. I was running down the wing and I got pushed and I sort of fell forward into the wooden boards and my arm sort of smeared down the side. It was scorching hot, by the way. The wood, it was boiling. I came away with a massive burn on my arm, and that burn was there for about 2 months. I remember it very well because it really bloody hurt. So I'm asking, how the hell did Randy recover so quickly from a fireball being literally, pow, shot right in his face? Randy, Tell me what your secrets are, pal. I need to know. And what a title for a WrestleMania show theme, eh? If we can deduce anything from a show title, surely we have just learned, coming out of last night's Raw, that Goldberg will win the Universal title and the World title both in the same night. Surely we have just learned that Charlotte Flair, she'll win every single other match on the card, even if she's not involved, because she's Charlotte Flair. And also we've surely learned that Kairi Sane will return to WWE. She'll see that pirate ship inside Raymond James Stadium. She'll go, oh, let's do something fancy here. That's what the fans want to do. She'll go to do it. And then she'll say, nah, can't be asked going back to Japan. As far as I'm concerned, that's all confirmed just because of that song there being used as the WrestleMania 37 theme. You bastards, WWE. And then surely Tom Phillips was face fornicating the poo out of a line on WWE commentary when he was speaking about Lana, and he said she waited to get into the ring at the Royal Rumble of 2021 until Nia Jax entered the Rumble. I watched it back just before there. Lana comes down at number 26. She waits for nobody whatsoever. She gets straight in the ring, and as you can see there, she tries to throw Rhea Ripley over the top rope. Didn't wait for anybody. Or I guess the other way that line could be construed, did Lana know that Nia Jax had drawn the number 29 spot in the Women's Rumble match and said, hey, I want to be close to that person who draws the balls out of the tombola, make sure my number is close to hers. And if that is the case, are we saying the days of the big, massive golden tombola thing, randomly picking the numbers for the Rumble entrance, those days are gone? Because if that's the case, I am devastated. Has Tom Phillips just confirmed that all of our lives in terms of being Royal Rumble fans, they have been a lie? So next up we have Dana Brooke doing a natural selection, and I know what you're thinking, Ross, that makes sense since she used to be Charlotte Flair's protégé back in the day. Hey, hey, ho, ho. But Dana doesn't normally do the natural selection, therefore gimmick infringement Kenny is here to tell you that Dana Brooke is infringing on the gimmick of Charlotte Flair. Aren't you gimmick infringement Kane? Tell them. Aye. Charlotte Flair before her matchup on last night's Raw. Lacey Evans might think she's playing mind games with me, but I'm Charlotte Flair, and she's definitely not. And then we see Charlotte Flair towards the end of her match on last night's Raw when she sees Lacey Evans and Ric Flair come out to do the same old bollocks we've seen a fair few times now. Ah, man, I can't deal with it anymore. Screw you guys, I'm going home. And I was thinking, Charlotte, for the third week in a row, you've just told us massive porky pies in the midst of your promos of Monday Night Raw. Surely you are the babyface in this Ric Flair and Lacey Evans and Charlotte Flair scenario, are you not? Lacey Evans is in your head and you cannot hack it, you delusional heel. Stop denying yourself. You're drowning in denial. Watch out for the crocodile. You're in Egypt. I'm only saying this because surely if Charlotte Flair was telling the truth, she would have just kept wrestling and not batted an eyelid. But she did, and then some more. Yep, I wrong. Yep, I wrong. Into hour 3 we go of Monday Night Raw, and Byron Saxton is still puzzled. In Byron's opinion, we still don't know, we still can't work out, we still can't wrap around why not WWE Champion Sheamus would bro kick WWE Champion Drew McIntyre at the start of WrestleMania season. Why could he be doing that, Byron Saxton? I've got no idea what to say in response to how stupid Byron Saxton's being in this case. I think he's broken. What's wrong, Byron? Nikki Cross does not watch Raw confirmed. I mean, who can blame her? But still, she's a Raw superstar. It's got to be a WTF moment. She was there speaking to Alexa Bliss, or who she thought was Alexa Bliss, in the midst of their matchup on last night's Raw, and she's saying, what's going on, Lexi? You used to be me best pal. You've turned the weens against us. She didn't say that. That's just a Scottish reference. You used to be my best friend, Alexa Bliss. Now you want nothing to do with me. Who are you? What you doing? Just we're playing with each other. And I was just thinking to myself, Nikki, the answers to your questions, they were answered on last week's Raw. This Alexa is not the real Alexa Bliss. This is the Fiend controlling Alexa Bliss with magic and drugs. That there, Nikki Cross, that is the real vessel of Alexa Bliss. What you wrestled with last night in terms of bones and body, that is Alexa Bliss. But the real Alexa Bliss, she is trapped inside of the vessel, and the outer vessel is being controlled by the Fiend. And when the actual Alexa, she sort of gets out, she escapes from the power of the Fiend from time to time. She cries, she's confused, she doesn't know what's going on. She can't deal with the turmoil and the trouble and the strife as this mystical being called the Fiend sends her down paths she doesn't want to go down, but she goes down them anyway because she doesn't know what's going on. It's all manipulation. Your friend is in there, Nikki. Never lose hope. What the hell am I doing here? Or just catch her at the right time, Nikki Cross. There is occasions where the scary Firefly Funhouse Alexa breaks free and she transforms back into the Alexa Bliss we recognise from the last few years in WWE. Just catch her then and you'll be fine. But then Nikki, you went and did it now. You went and did a big mistake, as The Undertaker might have said all the way back in 2003, because the actual Alexa Bliss, she transformed, she escaped, she whatevered. She was in the ring with Nikki Cross last night, but because Nikki Cross is confused, she hoofed her right in the belly. You see Alexa Bliss going for a hug there, Nikki Cross, you should have hugged her back. That was the real Alexa Bliss. You would have known that if you saw the real Alexa Bliss appear on last week's Raw as well. She hasn't got any idea what's going on. It's baffling. And then we fast forward through some wrestling between Edge and Randy Orton. It was all tickety-boo stuff. It actually was good. I enjoyed it very much so. A fantastic main event to Monday Night Raw. But then Spooky Bollocks appeared once again, and oh my god, can you believe it? She's been backstage, she's writing a love letter to the Fiend or something like that. She's been chewing on her ballpoint pen. Easy for me to say once again. We've all been there, haven't we? We've been chewing. The structural integrity of the ballpoint pen, it's weakened, it explodes at the end, and the ink, it ends up all in your mouth. How can you believe it, eh? Can you believe it? Happening to Alexa Bliss when she's appearing on Monday Night Raw. We've all been there, haven't we? Or now, is Alexa Bliss actually a penguin? I mean, like Danny DeVito in Batman. Tune in next week to find out, I guess, but this was a big improvement, in my opinion, by and large, on Monday Night Raw. Yes, there's still bits that lets the show down, but it's 3 hours long. It's not all gonna slap, is it? But shoots of hope as we begin WrestleMania 37 season. I've been Ross Twiddell from Cultaholic Wrestling. Thanks for watching this bollocks once again. Here is... what was his name? Here is Clarence, the commemorative Cultaholic Wrestling Championship Octopus. Easy for me to remember. I'll lift my title, I'll celebrate, and I'll see you on Thursday, I guess, if you watch the AEW WTF Moments. If you don't watch them, I'll see you on Saturday for the SmackDown WTF Moments. If you don't watch any of that, I guess you're not watching this then, are you?
WTF, WTF.